So many unbelievable things on television. Television commercials will tell us, for instance, that it costs a lot of money to label genetically modified organisms. We'll get to the preaching part later on. We got to teach y'all some stuff first, right? Is that all right? You know, they say that when you get to the solid part of the log, it gets quiet when you beat on it. So I'm beating on the solid part of the log, y'all, not the hollow part. So I know that, you know, you beat on the hollow part, y'all be hooping and hollering and jumping up and throwing your purses, but this is some real stuff here. So pay attention. So then the television commercials tell us that it'll cost a lot of money to label food. It don't cost them a lot of money to put new and improved on there, does it? But here they tell us just to say that something's got GMOs in it, that's going to cost a lot of money. That does not cost as much money as the cancer treatment you'll go through from eating that stuff all your life. That does not cost as much money as the treatments that you go through for ulcers, ulceritis, colitis, gastrointestinal infections. It's not going to cost that. It doesn't cost as much to put labeling on a food as it does to save a human life. So then they're jiving us, aren't they? We don't know what to believe. And you better believe that. So then we now understand some things. That we have to understand about something about the source of our information, right? Some of y'all, the main source of your information is Fox News. Or faux news. You need to consider the source. Some people look at all kinds of things for their beliefs. Statistics prove right and wrong for many people, and they believe that. Astrology proves right and wrong for people, and people believe that. Dream books. I said dream books. Some of y'all playing the lottery in here, you know what I'm talking about. Dream books where you have a dream, and then you look in the book to see what number your dream is. Honey, I dreamed about eggs last night. Well, look up in the dream book and see what number that is, and let's play it. Science. On one hand, they tell you that, that eating something will kill you, and then on the other hand, they tell you it's all right. But you have to consider the source of those studies, right? Because they can sometimes be self-serving. Now, I talked about them GMOs. Let me just touch that just a little bit more. You know, genetically modified organisms, GMO foods, are created by a company called Monsanto. Y'all know Monsanto. They're the ones that gave us Agent Orange in Vietnam. And look at how many can't get medical treatment after being sprayed with that after serving in the U.S. military. You know about Monsanto. They're the ones that gave us dioxin, created PCBs, created DDT, all of which they told us was okay. It's all right. But you know, when the insect eats a corn or tries to eat corn that has been genetically modified, whether it's corn, soy, canola, or sugar beets, the belly of the insect swells up and explodes. And then that's what happens. But what happens to you from eating all that processed food? It's got the residuals of Roundup in it. No wonder so many of y'all got fat bellies, myself included. I'm holding my breath right now. But no wonder so many of us are overweight without overeating. You think about that. How are you going to gain weight just eating processed food? It's because what's in that food is giving you false calories. You better quit eating that because it's going to kill you. You don't have to believe me, but you better believe somebody. Now, as I hasten on, let me just say that what you believe is a matter of choice. And what you believe is just as much a matter of choice as what you choose to disbelieve. Our beliefs are a matter of choice. You have that choice. Whatever the case, though, we should always consider the source. Because words have a power. Words not only have meanings, but they have power. The only thing that separates the magician, the priest, the lawyer, the doctor, the scientist, the president, and the judge from you is their knowledge of the power of the words in their profession. A magician can say abracadabra and make a rabbit pop out of something. You say it and ain't nothing happening. You can tell somebody that they're guilty and they're not tripping, but if a judge says that, you got time on your hands. You might say, well, that offends me, and you broke a contract. But that doesn't really mean anything until you get a lawyer in court telling somebody that and they believe it. So then, words have power. Simple words have power. Simple words like shoot to kill during a riot have power, don't they? Simple words during combat. There's a lot of veterans in here, and you know, when you're on the field, I haven't been on that field, I've been on some others, but when you're on the field, you can't use a whole lot of words to convey an order, can you? You got to make it plain, you got to make it quick. When you're in a football huddle, there's no time to debate, and whatever the quarterback says, whatever the offensive coordinator is sent in, you know what? If you're on the team, when you hear it, you better believe it. So then, here is where we are. That when we are in a believing posture, we're in an open and a receptive posture. But some of us choose not to believe. And there's a history to that in human history. Adam and Eve, like some in here, would choose to believe a snake rather than believing in God. They did not consider the source. Maya Angelou told me one time, beware of the naked man who hands you a piece of cloth. Consider the source. Beware of the naked man who hands you a piece of cloth. He's handing you something to cover up yourself with, but what about him? You need to consider the source. When people are giving you something and you can see the nakedness of their own guilt shining forth like the noonday sun. 1-month span that Elizabeth was pregnant with John the